Here are the horoscopes for the 26th of June to the 2nd of July 2017. We begin the week with the new moon at 2 degrees Cancer on the 24th. So this is an interesting one because many people think of the sign of Cancer as the mother of nurturing, of love, compassion, and it is all of those things. But it's also quite fiercely protective and quite feisty at times. So with Mercury and Mars, with the new moon, and with a full grand trine in fire, then we can see this feisty nature come out. Quite often any residual anger and frustration that we push down, that we repress, can come up at this time to be released, and we need to be very self-honest and have a look at our own cycles, as Cancer is ruled by the moon, and we go on a journey every month through the dark, new and full moon in order to be able to rinse and rejuvenate ourselves. So at this time of the summer solstice, quite a feisty new moon in Cancer, having a look at our emotions, having a look at what we've repressed, what we're fiercely protecting, or what we're distracting ourselves with others, loving others but repressing anger or passive-aggressive behaviour systems inside of ourselves. Having a look at this Mars connection, where our passion is, and whether it's directed outwards and upwards, or whether it's directed towards others, or whether it's directed inwards, and we're burning ourselves with that fire. So it's the spiritual fire of Mars that we're talking about, not frustration and anger and ego. And this is a great time to clear that up, to light up all of our cells by having a look at our emotions, whether they're serving us or not, whether they're still true, and under this new moon being able to release those in the natural cycles of time. So we're stepping over into the summer solstice now as the sun has gone into Cancer. We're into the darker half of the year, and by that I mean that the sun will start to reduce its arc in the sky as we go towards the winter solstice. So we take a turn inwards. It's interesting that we have Neptune turning retrograde at this time to tune in more deeply with our cellular knowledge, with our emotional intelligence, and to do that cleansing work under the new moon in Cancer. We have quite a stripy week coming up, as by Monday we have Mars square Jupiter. And Mars is the passion, as I've said, the spiritual warrior, the very essence where we can go in and cleanse ourselves. We can use that fiery spark to actually rejuvenate ourselves and to burn out anything that's not helping us. But with Mars square to Jupiter, this could block the way ahead, and this is necessary. So if you feel a bit blocked on Monday, if the way ahead seems blocked, it's because your solution and your destination is not currently an outward progress, it's an inward clearing. So have a look at where we're blocking ourselves, have a look at whether we're trying desperately to push and strive in the wrong direction. Are our goals actually suiting us, or did we set the goals a long time ago? Because there's a reason for any blocks that come up. So have a look at whether you're trying too hard. When we're pushing and trying, that tends to come from the mental realm. We think that we want something and then we chase after it. Mars very much does like to have that clear way ahead. But if it's blocked, then turn Mars inwards, turn your spiritual warrior inwards, and have a look at what is it that's blocking you. Is your trajectory actually true? And can you burn out with a laser anything that's a false belief inside of you? Any restriction, any lack, any objection, any block to actually receiving? Maybe you've got a belief that you don't believe that you can receive. There could be some self-worth issues there. But if we turn towards our inner gold, look at our inner treasure, then we become more radiant, and this will be what releases the blocks and puts us back on the right path. So we're turning inwards to have a look at our treasures, have a look at our real energy and our excitement and our passion, but not trying to step forward at the beginning of this week. By Tuesday, Mercury squares Jupiter, so we've got a really complicated week coming up with lots of squares and trines, but Mercury's turn on Tuesday, and this will give us the ideas. We can actually see where our thoughts are blocking us. Our attitude towards progress. Is time linear? Because this causes most frustration, that people think that they should be progressing in a linear fashion every day and getting towards a goal, and that equals progress, that equals success. But time actually works in spirals, so sometimes it's time to retract, sometimes it's time to regroup, sometimes it's time to do nothing except observe. Because if we kept consuming, if we kept progressing, if we kept expanding and accumulating and acquiring, then where would we be? We'd just end up huge and weighed down and surrounded by stuff, but would it actually mean anything? So Tuesday we can have a look at our attitude towards time, towards progress, towards the cycles of time, and when we need to just stop or even simplify and declutter in order that we can lighten up and travel more lightly as a result. By Wednesday, Mercury meets Mars, so Monday was all about Mars and turning our light inwards to burn out any blocks, and Tuesday was all about getting the message, having a look at our beliefs and the way that we think about things. But now Mercury and Mars come together on Wednesday, and this really will start to become clear now. You'll have the passion, the excitement and the clear thoughts in order to be able to reset your inner compass to go in a direction that is worthy and meaningful and truly purposeful. So a good time to look back at all the retrogrades here. Where were you heading before February? What was your vision? What was your trajectory, path and ideal destination back then? And see how much that has changed by going inwards with Mercury retrograde, inwards with Venus retrograde, and inwards with Jupiter in order to reset ourselves. So have a look at where you might want to be heading towards now, and how different that is to what you thought you'd be doing this year, and what you thought you wanted to achieve this year. Because we have achieved a lot, but it's all been for the inward soul, for the purpose, for the sense of true self, and now we're a lot simpler as the way ahead begins to clear. So by Thursday, Friday, we have a very magical opposition of Mercury and Pluto. So this will take our thoughts and take them deeper, take them to the real deep healing place, the alchemical magic that these two can bring once we observe both sides of the equation. So Mercury, the processing mind, but quite often in the modern world that just keeps processing, but not very deeply. There's just a lot of thoughts, a lot of beliefs just going round in circles. Sometimes we can even drive ourselves crazy. But Pluto, observing that, sees the deeper meaning, knows your soul self, your soul desires, and schools Mercury in a way to think more deeply, and to think more magically, and in a more empowered way. So by Thursday, Friday, deep healing and empowerment, if we can observe our thoughts and take them a lot deeper so that they work for us rather than run the show. This carries on into the weekend as we have Mars opposition Pluto. So now we can blast out all those limiting thoughts, all those superficial beliefs, and we can actually become more masterful. We can choose what we believe. So many conversations and thoughts and ideas are seeded in our head by modern life and modern media that are of a very low vibration. So I feel this one is alchemical in as much as we can see what we're being told to believe, and we actually now know who we are and what we truly believe, and we can raise up that vibration, digging out any lower frequency thoughts at the roots and choosing consciously to connect to higher frequencies, raising up our energy and being the spiritual gardeners of our minds. So a completely amazing week if we take it day by day. I will be posting these horoscopes on my website astrozo.com if you'd like to follow along with a guide every morning to the best place to focus your energies. So to recap, the new moon in Cancer teaching us to return to spiral time, to cleanse, to refresh, to reflect, and to get back into our natural rhythms, to bring up any frustration and anger and to let it go, to let other people go, and to cleanse ourselves. And then throughout the week, Mercury and Mars squaring Jupiter and opposing Pluto in order to go in and let go of the blocks that we've probably created and to realign to our true direction, but also to raise our vibration by clearing the shallow thoughts or things that have been seeded in our minds that aren't even true to begin with, to step into our power and to set our direction so that when we move forwards round the middle of July with Jupiter, then we're actually recalibrated and realigned to our true path. So those are the horoscopes for this week, and I'll see you next week. The theme for this month is realigning to the natural cycles of time, and I have 2 online courses. One where you can make a personal lunar planner for every new full and dark moon in the year and where that fits in your chart, and the other one how you can calculate your yearly power dates and work more with crystals and herbs. I'm also running a workshop on July the 18th if you'd like to come along and do that in person. Like I say, if you'd like to look at these horoscopes, they are on my website, and also I'm available for readings one-to-one or on Skype if you'd like to see where they're happening in your own chart. I have my online Facebook group where we can have discussions about the current aspects and how to work with them more deeply. And I have a number of online courses if you'd like to learn how to look at the spirals of the planets and their divine timings to tune in to the more organic calendar and the more organic biorhythmical waves of the planets for a more harmonious life. So for any of that, please do contact me, zoehind7@gmail.com.